welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the churn dash pattern. The churn dash pattern is a very, very old 9-patch block pattern. It dates somewhere between the time frame of 1800 to 1849, and the perimeter of the block was named that because it resembled the butter churn and the center of the square to a stick of butter, which is also the dash. That's where they got the dash. So it's also got different names like hole in the barn door and monkey wrench. I had never heard of those two names, but I'm sure some of you have, but I had not. So that was something I learned with researching this pattern. It's made up of a few elements from triangle to rectangle to square. It was often one of the first patterns that young girls learned in their quilting lessons because it was so simplistic. In the mid-1800s, it was said to have assisted runaway slaves by the Underground Railroad. Now, some scholars say that that's not correct, while others do. So we don't really know, but that is what most of the people say that it was. And the Underground Railroad was made up of hiding places known as stations. And the people who helped them were known as like railroad workers. The railroad workers and the enslaved people used codes to send secret messages to each other about how to escape to freedom. And they used these quilts as the methods of how to get a message across to these people. But the churn dash was this one that we're talking about, and this is the churn dash. So now you know what the churn dash looks like. And this actually was the first quilt I ever did. Like it said in the notes that I read, it said that it was one of the first quilt patterns that young people learned as they were learning to quilt. This was the first one I learned. This was the first one I learned. This is the first one I quilted. Don't look too close. I'm not going to put it way up in the camera because there's a lot of mistakes in it. But it is the first one I ever made, and it was the first one I ever hand quilted. So that is the churn dash. If you have anything to add to it, put it in the comments below. We'd like to learn more. Like and subscribe. You know I'm going to say that, so here it is again. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or add-ons to the information that maybe I didn't even know or that I didn't touch on in this video, put it down below in the comments and we'll read it and love to learn from you as well. So until next time, happy quilting.